So how does a country, really change? I'm not talking about small fixes here and there. I mean a massive ground-up transformation. Well, today we're diving into a really fascinating proposal for exactly that. It's all about one big strategic investment designed to completely reshape a nation's future.
And this quote? It just nails it. It sets the stage perfectly. We're talking about that critical moment, that turning point, where the old way of doing things just isn't cutting it anymore. You have to find a new path. So, what's the big challenge that's forcing this kind of reevaluation?
Well, the whole proposal is framed around this idea: a nation standing at a crossroads. It's being held back by some really deep-seated issues that have basically stalled its progress for years.
And let's be clear, these are not small problems. For a nation like Bangladesh, we're talking about stuff that goes deep, systemic problems that hold back the entire country and stifle the potential of millions. It's like this incredibly tangled knot, right? And to undo it, you need something just as ambitious as the problem itself.
Okay, so how do you even begin to untangle a knot like that? Well, this proposal has a surprisingly simple, direct answer. It's designed to just cut right through the noise. It's called the 5% investment proposal.
Just 5%. So what's the big deal with this number? Well, get this. This one figure is the absolute cornerstone of this entire blueprint for change. It signals a radical, fundamental shift in national priorities.
And this isn't some polite suggestion. It's a structural change. The proposal calls for a mandatory legally binding rule. 5% of the national budget every single year has to go directly into research and development. It's about making innovation a non-negotiable part of the plan.
This isn't just some abstract policy paper either. It's been given a name, a brand, the DAFA 13 National R&D Investment Initiative. DAFA stands for Design and Action for the Future Agenda. Giving it a real identity like this, it turns it from just a concept into a tangible movement that people can actually get behind.
This right here, this quote sums up the core mindset shift perfectly. It's all about reframing R&D. It's not some expense you can cut when times get tough. No, it's the single best investment a country can possibly make in its own future.
All right, so a 5% investment is a huge commitment. So the big question is, where does all that money actually go? The plan is really clear about this. It funnels the funds into 5 key areas, 5 pillars of progress.
I mean, that's the most important question, isn't it? If you're going to set aside that much of the national budget, you better have a rock-solid plan. And this proposal does. It breaks it all down very neatly.
And what I find really striking here is the balance. That 5% is split evenly across 5 absolutely critical sectors. It's not about playing favorites. It's about creating like a balanced portfolio for the whole nation's development. You're lifting the entire foundation all at once. So if we look at the numbers, that's 1% of the entire national budget going into R&D for each of these areas. Think about that. The idea here is to break down those walls between different sectors. You're not just improving one thing, you're sparking innovation across the entire foundation of society, all at the same time.
Okay, so we've got the what and the why. But how on earth does a plan this big actually get done? Well, the proposal lays out a really clear 3-phase roadmap to turn the vision into reality.
It's broken down into 3 super logical steps. First, you build the foundation. Create the laws and the institutions you need. Second, you actually do it. You execute the plan and get the money where it needs to go. And third, you watch it like a hawk. You constantly monitor the results to make sure that investment is actually working. And when you look closer at the details, you see just how thought out this is. We're talking about drafting a specific law, a national R&D law, to lock in that 5%. And this is crucial, setting up an independent, politically neutral council to manage the funds. This is all about building a system that's effective, transparent, and, most importantly, built to last.
So let's zoom back out to the big picture. This is so much more than a budget proposal. It's really a philosophy. It's about a nation deciding to become the architect of its own future, instead of just, patching up problems from the past.
This slide captures that shift perfectly. The goal isn't just temporary fixes, right? Not just tackling the symptoms. It's about building something much bigger, a state of real trust and prosperity. It's the difference between constantly reacting to problems and proactively building the future you want, by design.
And there it is, the ultimate goal: to elevate Bangladesh to where it belongs on the world stage.
right alongside innovation powerhouses like Japan, Finland, and Singapore. That 5% investment, that's the engine that's designed to make that happen.
Which leaves us with this one powerful question, doesn't it? Could an investment, a consistent, focused investment in ideas, in research, in innovation, can that truly be the blueprint for a whole new national reality? The architects of this plan believe it's not just possible. They believe it's the only way forward.